Jason, have we ever had a podcast that we divided into more than one part before?
No.
I think this is the first.
We've only been going for a week.
Well, that's true.
So,
in the long and storied history of RageSelect.com, we have never done this. Which is to say, in the last 6 days, we've never done this.
yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, welcome back to Rage Select. I am Jeff.
I'm Jason.
And we are talking about the E3 press conferences that went on today. And we got all the way up to the end of EA, and that brings us over to Ubisoft. I'm sorry. Everybody gets all bent out of shape when I call it Ubisoft because that's the way it's written. But
yeah, whatever.
Ubisoft.
Like UB40, red wine.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Like it might have been said at one point before, but I'm really more of a Diggable Planets kind of guy. So,
well, yeah, me too. Diggable Planets, hell yeah.
But okay, so Ubisoft was, I had kind of forgotten that last year Ubisoft's press conference was kind of a shit show because they had that stupid YouTube guy that was the jerk off.
At least it wasn't PewDiePie.
They bring PewDiePie on this year, but this year it was once again hosted by Aisha Taylor, aka Lana. Tyler. Sorry.
Lana.
Is Tyler?
I think.
Okay. I'm so out of it. It's a long day, you guys.
The statuesque woman who is the voice of Lana on Archer.
Before we start, I would just like to say that she's like 6 foot something. Like she is a large lady.
She's a giantess.
Yes. And then they also had her in like 8 foot or 8-inch heels.
Yeah, she was going to be Uncle Sam in a parade.
Right. So every time a developer came out to stand next to her, he looked like Teller to her pen.
Yeah.
It was just like, it looked to me, because I kind of just assume the tallest person is kind of a normal sized person. Whenever I see people standing around, tall, unless it's like, Andre the Giant size tall. Like I don't normally, because she's normally proportioned human being.
If you see her coming, you think, oh my god, it's the Slender Man.
Right. But it just looked like the Ubisoft only hires short French dudes to do development for them, because every one of those developers that came out to sit next to her looked like a short, like he was 5 foot or less. But they started with what could possibly be one of the more bizarre and insane
weird
moments.
I'm the man in the box.
So it was okay.
It was not Lane Staley, but God, what is Jerry Cantrell?
Yes,
that's his name.
Okay, from Alice in Chains.
Yeah,
comes out and starts playing Man in the Box.
Yeah, which
guitar.
This would be a huge get for Ubisoft 20 years ago. It's like. Alice in Chains? Really? That's who you got?
Yeah, it was a little weird. And then it turns out that he was showing
I like Alice in Chains.
Oh, sure. I do too. It just seems a little bit, it would have been like if, like, say, I don't know. It was just weird that the guitarist from Alice in Chains came out to do Rocksmith. Like,
it's like you couldn't find Buckethead.
Right.
You couldn't get him.
So he came out to basically do Rocksmith 2014, which was one of, I think, only like 3 things that Ubisoft had where they actually had like live gameplay going on stage. It was mostly just a trailer show.
Yeah.
But they showed this new thing with kind of a virtual band type of thing where the other virtual players of the band in Rocksmith will react to the way that you're playing. So if you play faster, they'll speed up or slow down with you or things like that. It was kind of one of those things where I'm like, I don't know how well Rocksmith sold.
Yeah, I can't imagine it was very well.
But this
is for musicians.
Right, right. I mean, and for those of you who aren't familiar with it, Rocksmith is basically, it's a box that you hook up to your console that you plug a real guitar into, and then you kind of play Guitar Hero with a real guitar. It's more of a teaching tool than anything else, and it just seemed weird with all the different things that Ubisoft has this year, that's what they led with. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the sort of thing that you shove down in the middle of the show. Maybe there's a midpoint thing, but the fact that they kicked off the show with that, it was just like, okay, I guess.
I was expecting Chumbawamba to come out at some point.
Yeah.
Instead of some guy from Alice in Chains.
And play Forever.
Yeah.
Play that one song play Tub Thumping Forever.
Yeah. Or maybe, like the Spin Doctors.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Spin Doctors. So maybe Deep Blue something or the Gin Blossoms.
Gin Blossoms, right.
Guys, we're an encyclopedic knowledge of mid-90s crappy alternative rock bands.
Yeah. So it's like that's the guy you got, Ubisoft? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
Fine.
From there, they moved into Splinter Cell Blacklist, where they basically, it was quite possibly, we haven't been all the way through E3, but I'm willing to put it in the front running for at least the top 5 worst trailers I've ever seen for a video game. Because it's like they had that thing that they do like on TV shows where they've got it was like cutscenes or gameplay in this window that was in the upper right-hand corner of the video, and they had all this technology shit with other windows with maps and GPS coordinates and little things writing out, going all, and it was like, I want to see that game. Why don't you just fucking show me that game? And this was one of the worst examples of how they kept shooting it from the back of the stadium instead of showing us what was on the screen. They kept cutting away from
that
it.
was with the Spike TV feed.
Yeah,
so.
Splinter Cell Blacklist comes out this year. Splinter Cell's a pretty big franchise.
No Michael Ironside as Sam Fisher.
No Michael Ironside. They did a big, it was last year, right, that they did the big onstage demo where they had him walking around and then he does the airstrike at the end or whatever. Yeah. It was interesting, and I'm really interested in this game. I'd like to see more of it. And this was very much just like a fluff sizzle reel trailer that didn't really tell us any new information, didn't really show anything. I couldn't see half of what it was, so it was just kind of like, come on, you guys.
It was kind of a mess.
From there, they segued into Rayman Legends, which
was just cute and insane.
Well, I hate to keep bringing up the elephant in the room on all these things, but like, Rayman Legends is supposed to be out already. You remember that?
That's right.
They pushed it back from like March to September because they want to put it out on all the consoles.
And people were picketing outside of Ubisoft's headquarters.
Amanda was picketing. Well, she wanted to. Really looking forward to that game. So they had a trailer for that. It was very much Rayman. It started off with their weirdly kind of, they have like the fairies in Rayman that kind of like 8-year-old girls with boobs. Mm-hmm. And from there it was a lot of Rayman. They had the blue guy from back in the old days when you and I played Rayman. That was pretty cool. I don't really like Rayman's such a goddamn fever dream that it's not like they could show a new story trailer.
It's like you had a dangerous amount of sugar and then went to sleep.
That was actually a lot of what seemed to come out of Ubisoft's conference.
Yeah.
But basically, guess what, you guys? Rayman Legends still looks like a good Rayman game, and it's coming out later this year, and that's about all the information that I got out of that trailer. I didn't really get a whole lot else. From there, we had a new IP, which was the
Mighty Quest for Epic Loot.
The Mighty Quest for Epic Loot, which was very odd.
Yeah, it didn't. I don't know. They were trying to convey what the gameplay was like, but I don't think they did a very good job.
As near as I can tell, like maybe we can wildly speculate here because they leave us no option. Basically, you saw this trailer that was a bunch of castles up in the sky. And then it was like this medieval knight guy that was talking, but it was very much like blooper reels, like he kept messing up or flubbing his lines or
and
things
would happen.
And
it felt kind of like Castle Storm.
A little bit.
With the cutscenes.
But what it seemed like was that it's you have to build your own castle, and then anybody can come and try to take the treasure out of your castle, but you have to set up traps and kind of like Dungeon Keeper, maybe?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I think this could be a neat idea because you've got, you set up your castle, and then people try to lay siege to your castle, so there's a big multiplayer component. But the big thing about this one was the ending.
Yeah.
The ending of the trailer, you've got this gallant knight and he looks like something out of a DreamWorks cartoon or something.
Kind of a little Team Fortressy 2 meets Pixar kind of stuff.
And then at the end, he just unleashes on this profane tirade against one of his enemies, and it turned the trailer upside down, and it was pretty damn funny.
Yeah.
Because it was just beep, 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 as he's just hurling this vile shit at his enemy. And I was like, okay, you've gotten my attention now, Mighty Quest.
Now, did we get, let me look this up and see if we got platforms. Do you remember from that? If there was a listing of what's coming out for, if this is going to be an XBLA game
no,
or like
I don't know.
Game,
it definitely had the vibe of something like an XBLA game. It didn't seem like a like a major release. You know, we could be totally wrong, but
it says Windows right now at least on the Wikipedia page. The only thing that it says is 24. Where did it go? 20
to be announced.
Okay, TBA, and it says Microsoft Windows only. I got no idea with this one. Like, I want to see more of it.
Yeah,
because I like to see what the actual honest God gameplay is like. Is it a third person game? Is it like what is involved with getting into somebody else's castle? Are you able to sneak in? Can you brute force in? Do you have to hit guys? Is it like a
this was telling us
tower defense, or
this was telling us a lot of the what, but not the how.
Right, exactly. So it seems interesting, but
it's too soon to tell.
Well, we get to a certain point with some of this stuff where it's like a nice pre-rendered trailer kind of just means jack shit all anymore, because we've seen enough nicely rendered trailers. I'm looking at you, Dead Island, that turn into games that are either meh or bad.
Yeah.
That you're just like, I can't trust that. I need to see some gameplay. From there, we have a game that is very difficult for me, Jason. Extremely difficult.
Because?
Well, it's South Park, the Stick of Truth.
Yeah.
And I love me some South Park.
Okay.
I hate me some Obsidian games. And this is a game that, like, when they showed this trailer, they had part of it was what Randy from South Park was teaching somebody the fart style of the Nagasaki.
Yeah, which was basically, it wasn't gameplay. It was just a funny South Park clip.
Okay, look, as far as I can tell, that
it might
is
have been gameplay.
That they're basically just rendering the South Park engine out.
Okay.
So that that they've got enough assets built up from the actual show that they can basically make anything that looks exactly like an episode of the show, which is one of the things that super exciting to me. Is none of this like, well, we took the show and we made 3D models so it looks stupid and fucked up.
Like with that one N64 FPS game.
Well, with most of the South Park games that have been out there. But this looks like like a giant episode of the TV show that, I mean, the information about this has been out there. It's basically, you create a kid and you join either the side of Stan and Kyle or Cartman and Kenny in this kind of fantasy role-playing war that they're having, but it's all like in their heads, so there's a lot of real-world stuff going on. There's quests and stuff like that. I like South Park a lot. When I saw that trailer, I was laughing at it. I see the Obsidian thing and I go, but then the trailer comes on and I'm just like, this is fucking hilarious. This is Trey Parker, Matt Stone, South Park stuff going on.
It's like someone handed you a beer.
Right.
And you were like, ooh, I'm going to drink this beer. And then they said, Jeff, that's shit beer. That's shit flavored beer.
It wasn't quite that bad. It was like, what I tell you what it was like? It was like if somebody that you really don't like but hangs around with all of your friends walks up and hands you a beer and you want to just slap it out of their hand and go, fuck yourself. But you like beer and they're giving it to you for free. And so you're like, all right, I'll try it. All right. But just don't talk to me while I'm drinking it.
Right. I don't owe you anything. I'll drink your beer, but fuck off.
So I don't know. I want to play that game, but yeah. From there, we moved on to Ubisoft's racing game, which was The Crew.
Yeah. This is actually one of the more, out of the racing games anyway, this is one of the more intriguing ones for me because it's got an open world thing, which I hope is not going to be like Need for Speed Online.
Hopefully it'll be more like Burnout Paradise.
Right. It had people racing along in their very distinctive vehicles, and they're all trying to go towards a particular objective. And this one was like stopping a Humvee or something like that. It looked like an exciting racing game.
One of the things that they framed it as is they brought in a whole bunch of people, like they showed a whole bunch of players playing the game, and they said, well, this last guy is having trouble beating his mission, so he's going to invite all of his friends that then are seamlessly able to come into his game and help him finish this mission. And it's supposed to have like some RPG elements in it and some open world multiplayer stuff going on.
Seamlessly on Xbox or seamlessly on PlayStation?
I don't know.
Because that's a big fucking difference right there.
Well, the thing is that the interface that they were using to invite people in was in the engine. So it wasn't relying on anything. Who knows? Who the fuck knows? I mean, it's coming out for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Windows.
Developed by Ivory Tower.
Yeah, let's see what Ivory Tower has done.
I don't think that's going to tell us anything.
I don't think that's going to do. Yep. Nope, they got nothing right now.
Yeah.
Anywho, it looks I mean, for racing, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I can't really say much more than it. The graphics were nice.
It was less sim and more, Burnout, Need for Speed, Hot Pursuit. And it was attractive looking. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Yeah, it could be a hell of a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Once again, let's just put the disclaimer in. Since this is a new episode. Maybe they didn't listen to the first part. Jason and I really don't know very much about sports or racing games.
We know there is that. Yeah. And plus we also, with this stuff, we only know what they want to tell us.
Right.
So.
Right. And it's hard to infer from there exactly what the fuck is going on.
And then one of the biggest games of kind of the hit of last year of E3 2012,
Yep.
and one of the most anticipated games, I think, of is it going to be released 2013? Should be, right?
Pretty sure it's coming out before the end of the year.
Ubisoft is releasing Watch Dogs. Mm-hmm. And I know everybody is pretty excited about that one.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like it's coming out in November of 2013. Mm-hmm. And it's cross-platforms all over the place.
Yep.
Even on the Wii U.
Yep.
So, yeah, surprise. From
the trailer, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot.
There wasn't a lot of gameplay.
There wasn't a lot of gameplay.
When we saw it at this point.
Right.
We do see it a little bit later. But yeah, Watch Dogs still looks like something I really want to play.
Looks like an original idea that's interesting. Oh, the trailer that they showed, it actually leaked beforehand. People were telling me in the chat. It basically involved the main protagonist following this guy down into kind of like it was like through a weird sex club or something, and in the bottom of the place,
who everyone was saying looked like you.
Yeah, everybody was calling him Jeff, and I was like, that guy doesn't look like me.
He participated in sex trafficking.
Yeah, and
maybe that's where they were getting.
I don't even have sex anymore, so I don't even know. I don't even know where the comparison is drawn.
But if you did, you would totally traffic the shit out of those bitches. Like that's how Jeff approaches girls in bars.
Like, yo,
I'm gonna traffic your ass.
Yo, you ever been involved in white slavery?
Yeah, because I can hook that shit up.
No, I'm sorry, that's not funny. It's a little funny, but
it's pretty funny.
It's not what I actually do. Anyway, it was a good trailer. It showed kind of the same thing that we've seen with the guy hacking his way with his crazy special phone. Mm-hmm. He seems to be kind of vigilante. Like at the end of the trailer, he shoots the Jeff guy or whatever in the leg, and the cops bust in and they take him out there, and then he like puts the guy's face up on all the billboards around so that they can see who he is. And
I wonder if his phone is unlocked,
jailbroken. Yeah. Well, one can only hope. I mean, that's got to be some kind of goddamn custom firmware.
He doesn't have a burner like I do.
Right. I can't believe that you came to E3 with a drug dealer phone.
I do. I've got it right here.
From there, what's
possibly the biggest game of E3?
Let's back up for a second because this applies to both of these things. No, not that one. Watch Dogs, and there's another one from Ubisoft. I'm really surprised that they didn't have more. Ubisoft had very little people playing games in their conference. And that's usually you'll get somebody doing a demo, and then you'll get a couple of trailers, and you get somebody doing a demo and a couple of trailers, just so that we all as gamers who are watching it can go, somebody's playing that game. I just saw them fuck up. It's obviously a person doing a live demo.
Yeah, this is all much more controlled, which is fine because a lot of the stuff that we really wanted to see was executed in the Microsoft or the Sony thing. So,
which kind of makes you wonder why Ubisoft even had. Why would they go through why would they hire an actress to come in and set up the stage and run all this stuff out? They're just going to run a bunch of trailers. Who the fuck cares? And that's kind of the way that I think about it, is why bring all the journalists to something when you could have us all
if you're just going to show trailers?
Right. You would probably do better just like using the money that you were going to spend to rent out that theater and to put all those people in seats and the security and stuff you're going to hire. If you took all that money and you basically just sent every person you were going to invite like $20 and said or a free copy of something and said, or a Rayman plushie, here you go.
Yeah.
Here's our trailers. They're going to be online. Here's your code to watch them online. That would have been more.
Well, they needed the spectacle,
I guess. But yeah, the next one from there.
So possibly the biggest game of this E3.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I am really into Just Dance 2014.
Just Dance 2014 with that hip hop version of Take On Me by Aha.
Was that what was playing?
Yeah.
My ears started bleeding almost immediately.
It showed a lot of people dancing and having a good time and looking like assholes.
Like you do when you dance and have a good time.
Yeah, and they were all dancing in their living room.
But Jason's coming out for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One this October, no less.
It sounds like it might be a launch title.
There's only 12 confirmed songs so far. And,
what do we got?
let's
Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
that's a big one. The kids love that.
I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor.
Candy, Robbie Williams. Oh, One Direction's got a song in there. Yeah, Jeff fucked one of those guys. A Rihanna song.
Some Flo Rida.
Yep. Yes. And Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
What?
This is a very strange.
Is this like Kids Bop?
You guys go look this shit up because it's very weird.
It's a Connect dance game. So, fuck it right in the ass.
We're totally going to play it.
Just right. Oh, I hate you.
You know what?
I hate you.
You know what, Jason? Wait.
What?
Hear me out here.
I'm listening. Go.
We'll make Sparkle Fandango play it.
See, they'll have fun with it.
Right.
They'll have fun with it. Here's the thing. We need to have it. It needs to be a Sparkle Fandango episode.
Where they dance?
With all four of us.
Oh, God. Yeah. I don't know if maybe by that time we'll be ready for a crossover. By October, we'll be ready to cross over.
Kayla and Allison will have a blast with that.
Maybe they can.
And Allison, while it was happening, Allison was telling me in the chat, "Oh, you're playing this."
Maybe they could dance, and we will sit on the sidelines and comment on their dancing. That's a little creepy. It's a little creepy. I don't know.
It's kind of creepy.
We'll figure something out.
I don't know if I like you sitting there evaluating my wife dancing. That's gross.
All right. Well, let's move on then quickly before this devolves into something terrible.
Yeah,
further into something terrible.
Well, this is devolving right now into something that I predict will be a horrible fucking failure.
A lot of people like the Rabbids games, Jason.
Sure, fine. Good.
This, though, was billed as an interactive TV show, Rabbids Invasion.
Mm-hmm.
And I had problems with my stream at the time, but when I asked you later what was happening, you said that it was people screaming and jumping around like morons in front of the console.
It was
to make the Rabbids do stupid shit.
Well, it seemed to have like a connect or move functionality. Do you remember, what was it, Captain Power?
Yeah,
we had that laser gun, and you would shoot.
It was shaped like a ship that you would fly around in front of
your TV.
Yeah, sure.
But it didn't actually do anything. There was like a TV show.
Sure.
You could convince yourself that you were affecting the outcome, but you weren't doing shit at all.
Well, there was
That's what this felt like.
I don't want to correct you, but actually, there's a sensor in the Captain Power ship that registered the number of times you shot enemy ships, so you could evaluate how good you did at the end of every show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
you were playing Captain Power totally wrong, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, whatever. But I was a crack shot. But yeah, this seemed like that. It's like during the TV show, you're throwing things at the Rabbids. I mean, it's hard to see how something like this works without having hands on with it.
Once again, I'm just going to say this seems like a perfect candidate for us to play. So that we can scream obscenities at the Rabbids from Raving Rabbids.
Yes, it does.
So from there, we had the inevitable Ubisoft Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag trailer, which I'm going to say, and it's kind of a theme for Ubisoft this year. Like, they did this weird thing where they had letterboxed it.
Yeah.
And it was like squeezed into an even more thin version of the video.
So it was hard to see what was going on.
It was like what do they call the old stuff? Like Super Panorama or whatever back in the 60s when they used to have that CinemaScope, and it was like
right.
absolutely gigantic. It was like that, but it was hard to see. And you're like, can you just show me
because this is a gorgeous game. You don't have to force it into this letterbox thing.
Right.
Just show it to us.
And they had some stupid pop song going.
There was like some fucking thing where it was like, what is this, South by Southwest?
Actually, it's kind of been a theme this year. There was a lot of irritating, like, we are old men, so there was a lot of irritating what seemed like en vogue pop rock kind of stuff that was just gross.
Yeah.
And, but Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, they showed a trailer. If I was Ubisoft, I probably would have trotted out Black Flag for a little bit larger stage demonstration, especially considering what happened later.
But that's the thing with this whole conference with all of E3, the entire expo, is that developers are probably negotiating with Sony and Microsoft to see what they can show
at their conferences.
But see, that it's like, okay, it's like, okay, Microsoft, if you pay us this much, we'll let you have the gameplay portion of it.
Right.
We'll just show the trailer. Sony, how much are you going to offer to show the gameplay? And then there's probably some sort of bidding war negotiations thing to determine who shows what so that they don't double up on it. So that everyone's not showing the same damn trailer over and over.
And I understand that, but at
Yeah.
the end of the day, you have to say, like, if you're going to just sell off your gameplay to people, to the highest bidder, why bother? I mean, like, look at EA. You know, EA saved probably the best part of Battlefield 4 for their show.
Yeah.
They didn't, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, we'll come back to it later. From there, we had a really very full of itself trailer for 2 new Trials games, Trials Fusion for consoles and Trials Frontier for mobile phones.
Yeah, I've actually never played Trials. I'm curious.
Trials curious?
I'm Trials curious.
Okay.
There was a motorcycle game. I don't even remember what it was called, but it was on the PC, and it was like there were some ridiculous stunts and stuff like that. Not so much as in Trials, but I played that quite a bit and had a hell of a lot of fun with it.
I played that game that had the water in the little thing and the 2 buttons that you would push that would make the guy on the motorcycle
Not a video game.
flip around. Yeah,
not even
a toy, really.
And I
yeah.
played Excite Bike a lot.
Well, sure.
The original.
There's very much less of that noise in Trials. We'll have to, Trials always seems to come out when we're right in the middle of looking at like 12 other things.
Well, there's Trials Fusion on the consoles, and then there's Trials Frontier, which is going to be on mobile devices.
Yeah.
Which that could be a fun mobile game, actually.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking for a good mobile game, like something to play on your iPad, this could be a winner.
Sure.
I don't know. It looked like it could be fun.
And then finally closing out Ubisoft show, the one, I'm trying to look over this stuff outside of the Mighty Quest for Epic Loot and maybe Rocksmith and Just Dance, Rabbids Invasion.
Yeah, this was something we didn't know anything about.
Right. Didn't see it coming, and we're very interested in what it was. So they had this greasy dude who was wearing a scarf on the inside, had a fairly hobo-ish beard.
Oh, God, this was the one that was...
Who came out to do his Alex Jones impression for us all, where he's like...
He was over-dramatizing it. It was just like...
Well, you remember last year they did the same thing with Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
Where they were like, everybody's got a cell phone. It's always turned on. What if somebody could look in your cell phone?
They were giving this nightmare scenario of what could happen with the bacteria transferred over, on if it's on a banknote that can last up to 17 days.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
And it was like this horrible scenario of like, day 1 on Black Friday, this virus gets out there and everybody in New York gets it. Like, day 2, all of America shuts down.
Yeah.
Day 3, people start eating each other. Day
It was
4.
total fear-mongering to sell a video game.
Yeah.
It's like day 5, your Netflix goes out.
Oh, no! What am I going to watch in the apocalypse?
Yeah. I mean, they totally did the fear-mongering thing, and it was such a ridiculous piece of theater. That said, the game looked pretty cool.
Yeah. This is Tom Clancy's The Division.
Yeah.
Which is a third person
Who just stamps his name on anything.
I think that I may be entirely mistaken, but I seem to remember reading an article like 6 months ago that like
he doesn't even write shit anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't control what his name gets put on.
Really?
It's a company that controls the Tom Clancy
he just
brand.
cashes a check.
Sure.
Yeah, I've heard hearsay. I don't know if this is true at all.
Right.
But I've heard that he doesn't even write a lot of the books that he's credited as author.
I heard that he has 6 nipples.
Really?
Yeah, and that he comes from an undersea group of Atlanteans.
I believe that.
Okay.
I believe that. He seems like an Atlantean.
That's right. He's a jerk off like Namor, right?
Fucking, yeah. It's totally like Namor, bitch.
So yeah, Tom, when we saw the actual gameplay of this, it was a kind of multiplayer focused third person, like rolling around in a dead city. It was very similar to a zombie apocalypse game without the zombies.
I was waiting for the zombies to come out, and it was funny because at first you weren't sure if it was the characters talking or the players talking.
Right.
And that you could hear, and then after a while you realized it was the players, and they were talking, but then you realize they're reading a script,
right?
And they're not very good. It's like, wow, you're not good voice actors, but you're not good at faking that you're actually playing this either.
Yep. Now, there seemed to be some...
But whatever.
I mean, there seemed, there's kind of some normal gunplay. There was some gadgets, like they had some weapon equipment.
It was
like
a little sci-fi.
little ball that would roll.
Yeah, they had a little
stuff
exploding hamster ball, basically.
And then they had, I guess they went into a police station, let some people out of a cell, and they went into an armory and picked up some new guns.
Yeah, this was all focused on the cooperative. Well, not even. It was cooperative multiplayer, but it seemed like maybe they were going up against a different team.
Maybe so.
It's hard to tell. That wasn't clear.
Was that the one at the end where it pulled out to show all the different other teams coming towards them? Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, it kind of had this kind of. I mean, I think that maybe it's the sort of thing we're going to see more and more of kind of focusing on like the DayZ kind of thing of limited resources and then banding together in groups to do stuff.
Yeah. But it seems like maybe that planet side kind of thing to where, it is persistent, but within a very limited scope.
Right.
And you've got, a couple of different teams, making moves on each other. Which that could be really cool.
The main thing about it is that it was very pretty. Mm-hmm. It was very cool looking. I liked what I saw.
Yeah.
It was extremely unclear what exactly it is.
Yeah.
Like, are they trying to, I mean, is the objective survive like it is in DayZ, or is it, like, do you have a story that you're hooked into?
It was desperate post-apocalypse, but like very near or perhaps even mid-apocalypse.
Right.
So, but this is one to watch, I think. This could be a really, really amazing thing. It might not be, but I think there's potential there.
Yeah, definitely. When I was watching it for a minute, I thought it was Freedom Fighters 2.
I know, you kept postulating on what Freedom Fighters 2!
Oh, wait, that isn't even a Ubisoft game!
No, Mercenaries 2!
No, there was already a Mercenaries 2.
At first you were like, Rainbow Six.
Well, because they showed that alpha footage, and then I thought it was...
Yeah, what happened? There was no Rainbow Six.
Well, the thing is that when they showed this on the trailers at E3, they came out and said, we're showing you a brand new game based on an existing franchise.
Yeah.
Or the wording
it was a little
very kind of bait and switchy. Mm-hmm. So while it was going on, because they showed this at the very, very end of the trailer. So I thought the trailer was like, is this like their new take on Ghost Recon?
Yeah.
Or is this
but they did say part of an existing franchise or something like that.
Yeah.
Where we were trying to think of what franchise it could possibly be. And there sure as shit hasn't been the Division game.
Nope.
So you're talking about just the Tom Clancy franchise?
Well,
which is like half of the video games released in the last
all of
5 years.
Ubisoft's catalog.
Yeah, exactly. Splinter Cell, Rainbow Six, and more.
See, the thing is, I was just going to look it up to see whether Splinter Cell Blacklist. Okay, yeah, that does have the Tom Clancy's name on it. So I'm like, all right. Whatever. So yeah, it seems cool, and it definitely seems like one of those things. I really super, super highly doubt that we're going to get to take a look at that. I think it's probably way too early.
Yeah, that's one of the big surprises that every E3. It's funny because it's you get to see the more developed version of what you were teased the year before.
Right.
It's like, okay, here's what's actually going to come out this year.
Yeah.
And then here's just a handful of surprises. Mm-hmm. That's how it worked last year. Because if you remember last year, the big kind of the dark horse was Watch Dogs.
Yep.
And now Watch Dogs is in a playable state. It's going to be pretty readily available. And I think the Division might be this year's Watch Dogs.
Perhaps. I don't know. There's actually, with the new consoles, there was actually, especially with Microsoft's focus in their conference with exclusivity, there's actually a lot of interesting IP rolling around out there. Mm-hmm. But that actually brings us to
Sony pulling its dick out.
Yeah, Sony's final conference. Well, we'll get to that eventually on down the line to the dick waving of Sony.
Yeah. They eased into it. They put the tip in at first.
Just the tip.
They put just the tip into Microsoft's butt at first.
So they came out. Sony came out, and Jack Tretton
no, it won't hurt.
Waltzed out on stage. And they started, as was a lot of times the way that Sony does with the PlayStation 3 and the Vita.
Yeah. And they didn't shove the Vita down our throat, really, which I was thankful for.
Well, that whole part, because we're going to go over this, but there's the Vita, the PlayStation 3, and then some of the online service stuff that in previous years, they spent a lot of time on. They were just like, here's the list. Here's trailer, done. Well, because they went through a lot. Like, when I was writing this out, I was just like, damn, man, Sony got a lot of stuff out there. So the first thing they started out with was the Vita, and that'll be where we start out. So here's some releases for the Vita. Some of this is shit that we way already know. God of War HD 1 and 2. That seems like a pretty cool no-brainer.
Worth
I'd like
it.
to be able to carry God of War
Definitely,
around.
yeah.
Flower, which
Haven't
whatever.
played it. Interested, though.
I liked Flower. I thought it was fine. The Walking Dead, the Telltale Walking Dead, along with a new DLC, which I don't think is specific to the Vita. Like, so,
Yeah,
unclear.
that was unclear. 400 days.
400 days, and as I understand it, it's like another 3 characters, and it's meant as a stopgap DLC between The Walking Dead Season 1 and The Walking Dead Season 2.
Okay, yeah. Which is a no-brainer. I mean, that was a huge coup and a great idea to put Walking Dead on the Vita.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't seem like it's that brilliant, but it's a great move.
Yep. And one of the other things they talked about, which I have been looking at for a long time, there was a story that came not too long ago, was they did talk about the PS4 streaming to the Vita, and how not at launch, but shortly thereafter, they're using the Gaikai streaming service that they have to develop technology where you can basically stream any PS4 game to your Vita, which I think could finally make that device into something that people would like to have.
That's pretty slick.
Especially, I mean, I don't know, like, here's some wild speculation on my part, but if you could get that Gaikai streaming service, and we still don't have many details on that, if you could sign up to that as a subscription and then stream the PS3 games from the Gaikai service through your PS4 to your Vita, and you could finally have Skyrim on the Vita, which I've been waiting for so long.
Oh, sweet Jesus, I might have to get a Vita.
All right, from there they had the PS3. Let's go over the stuff that they had. They showed a big trailer for The Last of Us,
Which looks good.
and it was. I mean, there were a lot of
it's
people
right around the corner, so.
There were a lot of folks in the chat who were very unhappy with that decision. They were like, "It comes out on Friday." I'm like, "This is on Spike TV. A lot of people are watching. Some people may not know.
Yeah.
Good on you, Sony." Puppeteer, which is
hard to tell, really. I mean, it was this was the part where I really kind of stopped paying attention because just for a second, because Sony was playing dirty pool here.
How so?
They were piping in fake applause.
Were they?
Yes.
Really? I didn't
catch that.
Uh-uh.
And it became very obvious right around this point.
Really?
Where the audience was not clapping. Because when we were watching on the stream, there was this audience applause, and I was like, oh, everybody's really into this. And then all of a sudden it just cut off immediately.
Really?
And it became very obvious that Sony was trying to craft and influence the message for those people watching at home or on the internet.
Huh.
And I was just like, that's when I nearly just said, fuck you, Sony.
Yeah.
Fuck you, because that's manipulative bullshit. Because it when it cut off, no one was cheering in the Staples Center.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't the Staples Center.
Oh,
They usually have that somewhere else.
Oh, they got those theaters down where we were last night. Okay, whatever.
But anyway, I didn't catch that. I was having some stream problems with the fact that the problem was that your stream was going faster than mine. So I eventually got to a point where I just took my headphones off and I was listening to it from your stream. But this is the Puppeteer. It looks like a side-scrolling 2D game. It's got some puppety influences.
Yeah.
Apparently, according to the Wikipedia page, it's being directed by Gavin Moore, who served as lead animator on The Getaway, Forbidden Siren 2, and Siren Blood Curse.
Don't care.
Who knows? It looks like a move game. It looks like a $60 move game.
Yeah.
I'm going to say I don't really give two shits about that. We also had a new trailer for Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah, which
Was there a trailer at one of the other conferences for that as well?
I think there was.
Was it at Microsoft?
Maybe. I think it might have been Microsoft, but Beyond Two Souls is not what everybody thought it was. This shows a much more military component, which no one was expecting.
Yeah.
I know that you guys that joined us in the chat room were really caught off guard by this because there seemed to be like a cover mechanic and stuff like that. So that was a big surprise, and a lot of people were very disappointed by it. It's too early to tell, but I know in the chat room a lot of people were pissed off, and because they thought that they were getting some sort of maybe more narrative intensive game.
Maybe like Heavy Rain with the kind of controlled quick time event type of stuff.
Sure. But this seemed much more action oriented, and to be fair, that's really the expectation that we placed on it based on what little we've seen of this game so far. But then we see this, and it totally is diametrically opposed to what we thought this game was.
Well, here's the thing. We still don't know.
We still don't.
Because,
that's
very
true.
And what we're basing all of this off of is the fact that in the trailer, there's sections of this game that we saw in the conferences where Ellen Page was dressed up in like this military commando outfit. She was in like a Middle Eastern looking kind of dusty, sandy place. And she was hunkered down behind chest high cover, sneaking past like dudes what had machine guns. In the way that she was moving behind that cover was very similar to the way that we see cover-based shooters go.
Right.
I don't think we actually ever saw her shoot a gun.
No, she was using some sort of telekinetic powers, though.
Right. But I don't know if it's going to be the sort of thing where, like, Quantic Dream doesn't really strike me as the sort of place that would give you a game where you were going to spend a lot of time hunkered behind cover taking psychic pot shots at people.
Right.
And if they did, if this was PsyOps, the Mindgate Conspiracy 2, I'm totally down with that. Because I think the psychic commandos are cool and shit.
I'm still curious, but my interest in this has waned significantly.
See,
seeing this.
What I honestly think from this trailer was they showed a lot of like military boot camp kind of stuff. I like the idea of having this boot camp for this woman who has this power. I like one of the things that's always attracted me to Beyond Two Souls is the idea of crafting a video game narrative that goes over a significant portion of a character's life. So having this be the early part and then maybe having some PTSD type of stuff that sets in, that then sets her into the stuff that we've seen of her wandering around trying to stay away from people who are chasing her.
Yeah.
I think it could be fine. Like if the stuff that we've seen this E3 was like the first hour of the game as a setup for why things are the way they are, I think it could be fine.
Yeah.
Once again, this is a game that I think that we should, I'd really like to try to get my hands on because I'm really curious to know, what it plays like. Like, I want to put my hands on a controller and drive it around and see what's going. And it's
right around the corner.
Yeah.
October,
this October
2013.
So this should be one of those ones where they should have something. They should have some kind of vertical slice for us to mess with because they teased it last year with non-interactive. So we'll try.
And then Batman bitches.
What's that?
Batman bitches.
You skipped one.
What?
Gran Turismo 6. I know you can't see racing games.
Yeah. I have racing game blindness. Batman bitches.
All right, we'll go with Batman bitches and we'll go back. Arkham Origins.
We don't have to go back.
We have to go back.
All right, fine. Arkham Origins, yeah. It looks like the Rocksteady Batman franchise.
There was a brief segment in the trailer where they had somebody doing what seemed like a decent Mark Hamill Joker voice.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Not great, but passable.
I thought it sounded just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know Joker was going to be in it at all.
Yeah.
And so him showing up in it was a pleasant surprise because they've really, this is a prequel and they've really kind of spent all their capital in the other two games with all of the other big villains.
Right.
I mean, so it seems like the big villain in this is Black Mask.
And then then you have Deathstroke, and then who's the guy with the eyepiece, Deadshot?
Oh, Deadshot. Yeah,
and
yeah.
then what's there's one more. They showed it in the trailer. There was one more assassin.
Oh,
is it Black Mask is like it's Christmas Eve. Anybody who shoots whoever kills Batman gets $50 million.
Yeah.
And then they showed some of them, and that was in the trailer that they showed where Deathstroke kind of has him, and then Deadshot screws it all up, and then he gets away or whatever.
Right. That trailer launched a few weeks ago. Yeah, this looks really good.
Sure.
I mean, it looks just like one of the other Arkham games. It's just like I don't know. I'm a little sketchy about
when does that come out?
They're using. It's like, okay, well, these are the villains we have to work with. Black Mask. Okay, most people don't know who Black Mask is,
but Black Mask can be very scary. I mean, I guess Black Mask was in behind the Red Hood. Yeah.
Under the Red Hood, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I still think it'll be a good game.
This is October as well. So
October. Okay.
This is another one that we might be able to get our hands on and see how it plays. I have a feeling it's going to play exactly like Arkham City.
Yeah. Well, if
similar,
if Warner Brothers Montreal has any brain cells to rub together, they're not going to deviate from the formula.
But Jason, video game players and comic book nerds love when you deviate from the things.
No,
especially with a character like Batman who needs revitalization because he's so old and everybody hates him now, right?
It's like they were handed this property and the guy in charge looked at him and said, "No, look at me. Don't fuck this up.
Don't fuck this up.
If you fuck this up, your life is forfeit.
I gave you the paper that says what game to make on it. It just says Arkham City. Just do that, and we won't have a problem.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what this looks like. So,
but don't forget the secret Sony reveal.
Oh,
all of their
exclusives.
Let's do the quotey finger exclusives.
Yeah, exclusive DLC of new costumes for Batman. The Nightfall costume, which is Azrael, if you remember that.
Which is perhaps the ugliest Batman costume ever.
Next to the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh.
Okay, yes. That's the purple, red, and yellow one, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yes.
But yeah, it's got the Nightfall Batman outfit, which is stupid looking.
Very stupid.
But also, awesomely, the Adam West Batman from the 60s, which that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So those are going to be specific to the PlayStation version of the game. That's happened before. The original Arkham Asylum had the Joker thing that was specific to the PlayStation 3 version.
I couldn't keep track of all of who had what exclusives on that. It was muddy.
The second one in Arkham City, it became ridiculous.
That's when it was bad.
Yeah. And then
but you won't be able to play as Robin, which is it's understandable considering the timeline, but it's bullshit since you teased it in Arkham.
Harley's Revenge.
Yeah, in Harley's Revenge. You know, it's like, come on.
Just give me everybody's doing co-op. Don't you want to do co-op,
exactly,
Warner Brothers?
Let us have Robin.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, lots of people are educated.
Wait.
That's the word, enough to realize that Robin's not the foppy little kid in elf shoes. You know, he's a badass.
We can totally have Robin. Because wasn't the Robin in Arkham City was Tim Drake?
We could have Dick Grayson,
Nightwing.
Shit, we could have Jason Todd.
We could.
We could have Joker kill Jason Todd in this.
That would be awesome.
Holy shit!
Sorry, guys.
The family
geeked out for a second with the comic book stuff.
Okay, that could be badass. Yes.
What if Deathstroke kills Jason Todd?
No,
it's got to be the Joker.
It's got to be the Joker. It's got to be with the crowbar.
Okay. Okay, we're going to back up to Jason's racing game blindness. Gran Turismo 6, we all know it's coming.
That happened.
Gran Turismo 6
moving on.
Looks really good. I'm kind of a fan of Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Car porn.
They didn't have a Raceatar or whatever they called it.
Drivatar.
Drivatar. They already had a Drivatar at Gran Turismo 5, so
yeah.
It remains to be seen. Last time Gran Turismo 5 kind of got its lunch eaten by the AI in Forza, and so it remains to be seen whether they can put franchise back together again in a good way.
Yeah.
Looks real good. Looks real good.
It's very pretty.
That's
it's a driving sim.
Yep.
If you're into that.
It also remains to be seen, you know, like, did you know that Gran Turismo 5 had, like, you could plug a USB GPS into Gran Turismo 5, that if you took your car with a specific brand of GPS and you raced on a real life track that was in there, you could race against the ghost of you in real life by plugging that GPS into Gran Turismo 5.
Yeah, I'm going to race against my Nissan Frontier.
There you go.
Right.
Do it. All right, Gran Turismo 6, it's a racing game. It looks real cool. We'll do whatever.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're getting into some of the more interesting stuff from the PlayStation. Well, that stuff wasn't uninteresting, but
yeah, they showed us the chassis.
We see all the hardware.
Yeah,
everybody was losing their shit, and I'm like, it's a black plastic box, you guys.
Yeah, kind of asymmetrical with
it's like a rhombus or a
rhombus,
trapezoid.
Yes, trapezoid, one of those things.
One of those. Which one? They get trapezoid.
I mean,
right?
it looked very similar to the Xbox One.
It was smaller. I think that was the big takeaway.
It was, yeah, because that dude with the weirdly tiny hands was holding it.
Yes. But it looks a little bit smaller and a little bit lighter. It doesn't obviously have a connector, a camera, or anything built in. At least not that I could see.
Yeah, it's not the beast that the first gen PS3 was.
They had it. They actually had it in the pictures that they had over the stage in a vertical configuration again, which I sometimes like to do with my console. But anyway, it was what? It was a black plastic box, like we said it was.
Yes,
decent enough design. Whatever. They spent a little bit of time talking about all the nonsense bullshit that we don't care about. Like, hey, you can totally rent movies from the Sony store.
Right.
You can get a selection of 1,500 songs off of our Qrosity, blah, 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 blah,
right.
blah, blah,
yeah,
blah, blah.
Multimedia stuff. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Games.
Yeah, which I swear to God, I thought that some of you guys in the chat room were going to have seizures because you were screaming about games so much. It was like, they had to spend 5 minutes and say this. So then we got some games.
Yeah, we did.
And the first
Yoshida,
one,
who I like that guy.
Me too.
Yeah.
You guys, okay, not all you guys.
Not all of them, but there were some
Some
people in our chat room who were some racist fuckheads.
Well, here's the thing. This is not a new thing. This is not the first time that a Japanese developer has stood up on stage and with a decent enough for it not being his own language, but
and I
somewhat broken English.
I guarantee you that Yoshida speaks better English than you do Japanese.
True.
You fuck.
Okay, you're a little bit more incensed than I am. I'm just saying. It's not real classy, you guys.
I'm
Cut
like
that shit out.
I'm like 6 beers in, so whatever.
Okay. All right. Well, the first thing that we saw was Order 1866.
Yeah, one of the big ones that got my attention this time.
Very weird. Very
Werewolf Fuck Party should have been the title because I called it. Did I not?
No, you've been trying to shove that name onto some game.
I know, Werewolf Fuck Party. And when this came up, I was like, oh shit, it's Werewolf Fuck Party.
Right.
I have the power of precognition.
And this was like Victorian England.
Going into Whitechapel,
but then these guys, they had like
steampunky stuff.
Steampunk machine guns. And
Yeah.
The one guy had a like flamethrower, grenades, and then like an electric gun.
And a radio. Like a shoulder radio,
Yeah.
like a cop.
Yep. And it was pre-rendered, at least as far as I could tell. It looked incredibly pre-rendered.
Yeah.
Werewolves, shoot a bunch of werewolves, and then they were done, and I was like, it's at least original.
Yep.
Looks pretty cool.
I was very interested in this.
Being created by Sony Santa Monica and Ready at Dawn, the only things they've really done are the God of War PSP games, but I've heard nothing but good things about all the God of War PSP games.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
It looks like, if I had to take a guess, I'd say it's probably going to be a team-based first-person shooter, kind of like Left 4 Dead, but werewolves instead of zombies, set in Victorian times instead of now.
Okay, I'm all right with this. Werewolf Fuck Party.
Werewolf Fuck Party. You heard it here first.
Order 1866 : Werewolf Fuck Party.
WFP, right? That's
WFP.
That's the subtitle.
Let's make it happen.
Okay.
Hashtag WFP.
We saw a brief snippet of Killzone 4.
Yep.
Which I have to say that for all my not liking Killzone, I kind of liked what I saw there.
It looked like they're finally changing up the formula.
Well, it looked like they were fighting in a jungle instead of in a blown up ruined city like they always do.
Yeah.
So that seemed pretty cool. We saw Drive Club, yet another racing game.
Boring.
I couldn't really even tell you very much about it. There were cars, they were racing, it said Drive Club.
Yeah.
And the thing was over. We saw a kind of cheeky non-gameplay trailer for Infamous Second Son.
There was a little bit of gameplay in there.
A little bit. It was mostly, it seemed like the main protagonist and his relationship with his brother, who's a cop who keeps trying to arrest him. Mm-hmm. I like the way that in the trailer, his brother keeps referring to his superpowers as like an illness or whatever. And he's like, have you learned to control your symptoms yet? And he's like, yep, the symptoms are pretty badass.
Yeah.
That dude totally has Ghost Rider whip powers.
He does. He's got the fiery burning chain.
Which
I want that. I also want the penance gaze.
Oh, yeah?
I want the ability to breathe fire, and I also want the ability to turn into Nick Cage.
I might be able to find a way for you to be able to urinate fire.
Oh.
But maybe only once.
Wait, are we going to have to go to Tijuana on this trip?
We're in LA. I think we could find something around here. We go down to Baja. We'll rent a car.
Okay. Stay tuned for that video, Rage Select fans.
I like the Infamous games, so I'm looking forward to Infamous Second Son, and I especially like the idea of an Infamous game without fucking Zeke from Infamous and Infamous 2. I don't like that dude. Mm-hmm. I know some of you do. I don't fucking like that asshole. From there, we have Knack, which we've seen before, which to me just seems like somebody took a tech demo and decided to make a full-fledged game out of it. I have literally no interest in this game.
I don't either.
It's like you got a little robot that gathers shit to him and becomes a bigger robot.
This popped up a couple of times, and I don't care.
Yeah,
I just don't care.
I mean, it honestly looks like a tech demo.
Yeah, but I do care about this next little teaser.
What the shit? This was the biggest bait and switch because I thought for certain there for a minute that they were about to talk about Fallout 4.
Yeah, well, you thought it was, and then the dude stepped out of the car, and I immediately knew, and you were like, Fallout 4. I'm like, no.
Well, no,
Jeff.
but see, here's the thing: is that in Fallout
I
1, 2, and 3, they have the Mad Max outfit.
Yeah, in Dog Meat, Mad Max, the video game.
Yep.
In a hard motherfucking trailer. Oh man, and you never see Max really. Nope. You just see a silhouette, but. hot damn.
He
this
runs
looked-
over a dude's head. It's
Yeah.
pretty rock and roll.
Yeah, this trailer was just manly. I could feel hair sprouting from my testicles while I watched it.
Well, it was funny because my stream, when we were watching it, my stream was behind yours. And
Yeah.
so you were watching it, and it got to the point where he runs over the guy's head, and you go, whoa! And I was like,
Yeah.
what is it? Wow!
Yes. And this is not gameplay. It was all pre-rendered, but it was badass pre-rendered.
Oh, good Lord. We are way long.
Do we need to do another one? We need to do a part 3?
I tell you what, I think we're going to take a break. I think I'm just going to splice all this stuff together at the end of the day, or maybe, I don't know.
Let's do 3.
Okay,
Why
let's do
not?
3. All right. Well,
One more. We got one more.
We got one more, and then we're going to take a quick break. So you guys remember that old man head that they had at the PlayStation 4 reveal event or whatever it was? So Quantic Dream, who also had Beyond, Quantic Dream is really up in bed with Sony these days, apparently.
Yeah.
Had that old man head in it was like Quantic Dream presents
It's a necromancy setting. where
dark
you-
sorcery.
Yeah, summoning some ancient evil or something. And it was very overwrought and dramatic, but it looked very pretty.
Yeah.
And then it turns out, this is just the set for a video game.
Right.
And it was very funny and very meta, but I still don't know what it was, really.
Well, okay, here's the thing. I get the impression they said we're going to show you more on the show floor. And they actually said that the day this podcast goes up, 6/11, there's going to be some kind of reveal on Sony's website about what it is. But to me, it was very much like the casting video or that Kara video that they made that was like a tech demo for their facial stuff. And okay, if anybody in the world ever needs to know about the Uncanny Valley, maybe go watch that video because it kept, for me, kind of crossing back and forth. Like,
really?
The old guy was great.
Yeah.
But then there was this little, like, it was
The
like a
little goblin.
dude made up to look like a goblin, but he just had a people face, not a goblin face.
Yeah.
It was like they literally just plastered somebody else's face green on this goblin head. That looked weird.
It looked a hell of a lot better than that LeBron James thing.
We'll get back to the LeBron James thing later. That was freaking bizarro. But it's still a question of what exactly this is.
Yeah.
Is it? Are they gonna?
That wasn't clear. They just put that out there and then didn't say, well, this is part of a game that's coming.
Right, right.
This
Well,
is just a tech demo.
It seemed
They
like an
didn't say.
awful. Well, it seemed like an awful lot of work for the joke.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it was like, if it's a game, what game
Wait,
is it?
No, you know what? I think he may have given us more details, but I don't remember. You made a note here, and Yoshida said that we are going to see more on the show floor.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll find out there.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna, but they also said they're gonna stream whatever the rest of the information is online tomorrow. So, we'll see. So yeah, you guys check it out. We're gonna try to check it out. But good Lord, we're have we ever recorded this much podcast in one go?
No.
We're coming on to over hour 2. So.
Yep.
We're going to take ourselves a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to have the rest of the PlayStation conference. We're also going to talk a little bit about what the end of the PlayStation conference means to Jason and myself.
Yes.
And then we're going to wrap it up for today, and we're going to come back tomorrow with more E3. So stay tuned for part 3 of day 1 of E3. Yeah.
2013.
More numbers. Put more numbers in there.
Yes.